Good evening, everybody. I'm so glad you're joining us. Love Soldiers has been, all the Love Soldiers girls, the news girls, have been very, very busy, working very hard. Been a lot going on in the news and everything, but, you know, holiday weekend is coming up, and we wanted to really just focus on what you should be focusing on when you're, if you're in the dating arena, if you're single, and that type of thing. So let me get situated here. I'm in the car because I'm on the go, and I just came from a work event, and I have Suzanne is on the phone, my producer Suzanne. So if you post your hey. So if you post your questions or comments, we can take your questions or comments. Hey Raul, how you doing? So basically, what we would like to talk about, this is for singles, of course. If you're in a relationship, that's a whole different show. But you know, summertime when you're single is a time to go out and mingle and have fun, and you know, go out to parties. It's a holiday weekend coming up, even if some of you are working. Hey Darwin, thank you for joining us. Hey Michael. People our Love Soldiers are coming back to us. We're very happy you didn't forget about us. So this is the kind of weekend when you're out. You may have plans. You may go out of town. Friends, hey Roger, how you doing? So you also have people that are, you know, call you up, that say at the last minute, hey, come on over. We're having a barbecue. We have a lot of people coming by. I think you should show up, or whatever. So what we wanted to talk about are some of the common things that happen on a holiday weekend. Number one, I want to talk about the issue of exes, because all of the people say that this is one of those things that you really need to be careful about. My personal rule would be, once the holiday weekend starts, which I would consider like Friday, 7 or 8 o'clock at night, even 6 o'clock at night on Friday, from 6 o'clock Friday until the end of the holiday weekend, I don't think you should return any texts or calls to any exes who contact you over the holiday weekend. The reason being is, you don't want to look like you're available. Even if you are babysitting for a relative or friend, you know, or just sitting in front of the TV or in the backyard or in a park or whatever, I think it's a much better look. Just simply disappear, go off the grid. Suzanne, what do you think about that?
Well, what if you are sort of bored and you don't want to make it seem like that, but you just want to see who's around or who's available? Like, how do you play that off smoothly?
Well, I think that's...
Let's say you are single, you are looking for entertainment, but
right.
You don't want to come off desperate and available. But isn't there a way to flag that out?
Well, I think the thing is that when it's an ex, if they're reaching out to you, you know, if an ex is reaching out to you over the holiday weekend, and it's basically you haven't really been in touch with them for a long, long time, I don't think you should respond to any messages from them, because I think it just looks like...
right, you don't want to be a rebound.
No,
or like
exactly. Or he just broke up, or she just broke up with whoever they were seeing, and now they're like, oh, my plans for the weekend fell through. You're the second choice, or you're kind of like my fallback plan. You don't want to be anybody's fallback plan, no matter how enticing or alluring it might be. So what I would suggest, but if other people hit you up, if just your friends hit you up, or guys that you're friends with from work or from other groups of friends, and they're like, hey, we're doing something. If it's a friend thing like that, and it's a party, barbecue, you know, going to the beach, whatever, you know, watching fireworks, I don't have a problem with that. I say go. If you want to go, go. What do you think about that?
Well, Thomas Aquila, he's tuned in with us. He says, if an ex reaches out, that means that they're desperate. Which is true. Holiday weekend, if an ex reaches out, they can come out desperate, and you don't want to come across desperate either.
No, I think absolutely not. And I think with the ex situation, you really want to save, you know, you want to save face, but it's not just about appearances. It's also about saving your self-esteem. And you want to be in a fun mood, and you want to be open. If you're, you know, a female, and one of your female friends or your girlfriend says, hey, you know what? My brother's having a bunch of his friends over, or my boyfriend's having a bunch of people over. Do you want to come with us? And you don't have specific plans. I say go. You know, that's you never know who you're going to meet. And of course, on a holiday weekend like this, people travel, people who might be from, out of state or from other cities or other areas, I think that's a good thing. I would just say that the do not respond situation is, the do not respond situation is for the, for an ex. And I think that would be the place that I would start.
Well, speaking of all these barbecues and friend events going on this weekend, the news girls in the newsroom have a question for you, Lisa.
All right, news girls. All right.
They want to know, how do you tell your friend that it's just a friend's weekend and not time to bring their boyfriend around? What's the balance with that? This is more like of a friendship problem, but it pertains to the holiday weekend and love.
Okay, so basically, you want it to be like a girls' night out, only on the weekend.
Yeah, sort of like a girls' weekend, or just like friends, and you don't want your friends bringing in their love into the weekend because it knocks off the whole vibe of the barbecue or what may have you.
Well, I think you have to be told. I mean, I've been in that situation, and I think you just have to be like, when you're making the plans, it's like, all right, news girls, let's just have a girls only barbecue, or let's just have a girls only dinner, or let's just have a girls night out, turn up, whatever, and do it like that. I think you just have to be open about it. And if somebody says, oh, well, can I bring my boo, or can I bring my boyfriend, or whatever, just say, you know what, we really kind of want to have this as a girls thing, because it is, when it's, and guys, you know this too, when it's guys night out, and you're watching your games or wherever you're going, whatever club, that's a whole different thing. It's a whole different vibe. If one of your guys says, let me bring my girlfriend, or let me bring my wife, then the whole thing changes. So Suzanne, I think that's pretty obvious. I mean, I think you have to say, is there one girl in that group that's saying like, oh, my friend insists on bringing her boyfriend or whatever,
That's true.
And I think the other thing is too, is like, if everybody's local, like if everybody's in the same town or the same city or the same area, then, if you want to do like the girls only brunch on Sunday, or you want to do the girls only barbecue on one of those days, this is a long weekend for a lot of people. Just make that one event the girls thing, and then, if people want to bring guys or whatever, later on, you can do that another time. But I think if you just keep it a specific event, you should say right off the, right from jump, hey, this is girls' night out. Excuse me. This is girls' night out.
Amanda Sherry, one of our news girls, she's watching in on
Okay.
Facebook, and she actually said what you just said. She said, just be honest with him. Do breakfast with your boo, and then the barbecue with your girls.
Right, and then you
That's
can
the best policy.
exactly. And then if you wanna meet up with your boo, or later on in the evening or whatever, that's fine. That's fine too. But I think you just have to be honest about it, and I think you have to be upfront. I think it's like, when you put on a party with people, or you put on an event with friends or whatever. It's like, okay, you need to be upfront, even with like the expenses. Okay, who's bringing the liquor, who's bringing the sodas, who's bringing the food, who's bringing this, who's going to do the cooking, who's going to do that, and divide it up in advance. Because I'm a firm believer in having things planned out in advance, but also at the same time being open for spontaneous magic to happen and wonderful things to happen. So can we talk? I'd like to talk about that for a minute. L'Oreal just signed.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, speaking of spontaneous stuff, like what if you go on vacation and you meet someone brand new and you want to spend time with them? Like, how do you deal with that on vacation in like a faraway destination versus coming back here without that person? Like, how would you approach that situation, Lisa?
You mean like let's keep it 1,000 here. Let's keep it 1,000. Let me move this car light here. So we're talking about a situation. First of all, distance is everything. Distance is everything, and the location. Like they say, location. So location is everything too. So let's say you're going on you're on a trip that's more than a couple hundred miles away from where you happen to live, and you meet somebody the first night you're there. You're having an amazing time. You're really clicking. It is on. So, of course, when that happens and you're on vacation, a lot of times guys will really stress you, like, I want to see you, I want to be with you, I want to be with you morning, noon, and night, or whatever. you have to decide in advance what your priorities are. If if you're like an archaeology student and you want to explore the area or something, that's one thing. But if you're there for fun, if you're there for mating and dating, then I think, I say go for it. But just go for it only if you know you can have it, one of those, what happens on vacation stays on vacation.
Stays on vacation, right.
And you're not going to try to stress, and you are firmly in that mindset. And no matter how awesome it is, you'll remember this is vacation. This is why it's awesome. We're not dealing with the day-to-day hassles of daily life. We're not dealing with relationship drama. This is just about fun. If your goal on that trip is to just go, have a really amazing time and whatever, just be safe about it in every possible way, in every sense of that word. Be safe about it. Make sure you don't take risks with strangers. Go off with strangers that you don't know. Make sure the people that you're traveling with know where you are. You have your phone charged before you go out. Certain basic safety things like that. And then I say go for it,
Alan Chilwick, he just said the 60s and 70s was much easier for love.
I don't know about that. Didn't everybody see those Woodstock documentaries where everyone's like slithering around naked in the mud? I mean, come on. It's like, honestly, there's more opportunities. There's more opportunities for people now. There's more opportunities to meet people of the opposite sex, depending upon your comfort level now. And I think also because of the communication, it makes it better. Now, Suzanne, let's take the other situation where you're kind of in your home zone, meaning the person, you're within like a couple hours drive of where you actually live, which means that, location, living in different cities would not be a problem if there was to be a relationship or whatever. Then I would suggest, and you have to know yourself too. And again, I'll say this as well. I think it's easy for guys to hit it and quit it, and I think it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different for women. Yeah, even if because a lot of women, if it's really good, then they're like, oh wow, relationship. So
right.
I think that if you're like, again, now if you're in like a closer area, you're within like, let's say a couple of hours of where you live, where conceivably you could see each other on the weekends or maybe even during the week, and you meet that guy like at the beginning of the weekend or whatever, and he's really sweating you and he's really pressuring you, and all of this, pressuring you for sex or pressuring you to be intimate, and it's like you want to go for it because everything feels so good, and it's like whoa, like that. Then I think you need to kind of like reality check yourself, and you need to really talk with one of your friends and say, listen, this is the way I'm feeling, and I don't want it to get too out of hand. Can you call me about 11 o'clock at night and start texting me like crazy just to check in on me and that type of thing? Just build in some checks and balances there, and make a plan the next day to meet your girls for lunch, something like that, so that this way you can kind of break it up a little bit, so it doesn't become a thing of like you're with them at night and then, excuse me, I don't know why I'm losing my voice. You're with them at night, you're sleeping over, it's the morning, and then you're kind of hanging out and the whole thing. You still, if there's any potential there and distance is not a big deal because you're relatively close, then I would say space that out a little bit, because if a relationship is your goal ultimately, maybe not with that guy, but if that's what you want and you're comfortable with, I would say space it out a little bit, like that.
That's a good idea. And it's actually very true, especially with someone who isn't too far away. You never know what it can blossom into.
Exactly.
If they're actually into you,
right.
They will treat you like a lady regardless, and call
right.
you throughout the day and check up on you and text you. Like,
right.
You're right, with communication, it does make it easier.
Because like
there's cars and planes.
There's cars, there's planes, there's buses and trains, although our trains haven't been doing too well lately, but I think that whole point is, it's like you can't just jump into bed with a guy. You can't just jump into bed with a guy on the first night and then expect there to be romance afterwards. That's a what you call a fun and games situation. So, and again, anybody that's out there in the dating thing, single or whatever, anytime there's physical intimacy, please use protection, because a lot of people have gotten very sloppy about that. And, it's very, very important. So I think the thing is, I think the most important thing is it's like, know what you want and know what you're really comfortable with. If you like the romance, if you think, oh, this guy is really great, he's kind of got potential. If he's got potential, then don't give it up right away, because you're not going to have a chance to. Once you do that, you can't take that back. You can't do a course correction afterwards and go, wait a minute, I'm getting out of the fast lane here where it's just fun and games, and I want to transfer into the lane of romance and a relationship, because it's not really going to happen.
Right. I think the moral is to have fun, but know the situation and be safe.
Absolutely. And also to know what you want, what your goals are. If you're single and your goal for the weekend is simply, you know what, I want to meet as many people as possible, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to try to get out of my comfort zone and get into to do something new, or go to something I wouldn't normally go to, I think that's fantastic. I think that's an awesome goal. And if you're traveling, you need to really be careful, because who you're messing with and who you're spending time with. And you need to follow our basic news girls, which I'm going to remind everybody of right now, is if you go out with your girls, you go home with your girls. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
very, very true. It's very important.
And there's too many things, and we know this because we work in the news business, and thank God we haven't had stories like this for a while. We haven't heard this, but but I'm sure it has happened. It's like, if you're going out with 2 or 3 girls, and let's say one of the girls meets a guy on the dance floor, and they're dancing and dancing and dancing, and he's buying her drinks and drinks and drinks, and she's like, oh no, you guys go back to the hotel, or you guys go home, he'll give me a ride home. If you have to yank her, even if she's cursing you out, and even if she's trying to fight you to stay there, she's gonna thank you the next day.
Yank her.
Yeah, yank her, and then the next day she'll thank you. So I think that this is the best. I think that this is that's an important thing to do. And if you're going to, if you came in different cars, or one came in a car service, another one took the train, somebody else got a ride or whatever, you have that. We always have that kind of like habit where me and my girls, where we text each other as soon as we get home. And I think that's a good thing to know, because then I'm home, the doors are locked, everything is good, have a great night, blah 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 blah, TTYL, talk to you later, and keep it like that. So I think the safety thing, I'm all for having adventures. I'm all for women being out there and having fun and really participating in life to the fullest. But by the same token, we have to remember, as women, we're seen in a very different way than men are, and we need to really take precautions and make sure that we're safe. So I think,
be smart about it. As women, we're smart, so act smart.
Exactly. So
Speaking of which, Lisa,
yes.
I'm getting a call from an affiliate.
Okay.
So
I think
I'm gonna have to go.
All right, I think we have to sign off now. I have to get going too here. And Suzanne, thank you so much. I know you got to get back to work and take those affiliate calls. And I'll say thank you and goodbye to everyone. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. News girls and love soldiers.
Thank you, Lisa.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right.
Stay away from the exits.
Exactly. It's a blackout holiday weekend. You know how they have those weekends where you can't use your frequent flyer miles for tickets? That's what they call it, the blackout. They call it the blackout periods. It's holiday weekend blackout period. Anyway. All right, sweetie. All right, Suzanne, thank you. Have a great night. Take care. Okay, bye-bye. And that was Suzanne, our producer, my producer. And just going to say good night to everybody. Have a wonderful, probably be doing another Facebook Live or whatever. Please join us tomorrow night, 10:30, Fox 5, after the 10 o'clock news for Street Soldiers. We are going to be talking about, actually not talking about too much. We're going to be having fun at Summer Jam. We're backstage at Summer Jam. We have an exclusive with a bunch of different artists, some really fun ones. You'll find out, if you don't know who Lil Yachty is, you're going to find out tomorrow night. And some favorites of mine, some of my very favorite hip-hop artists. We just had a really great time. And I hope you will join us tomorrow at 10:30 on Fox 5 for a special episode of Street Soldiers, backstage exclusives at Summer Jam. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to head out here. Traffic's looking pretty good, so I'm going to take advantage of that. And have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. To everybody that has to work part of it, you know what? We do what we got to do. but have as much fun as you can, okay? Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.